Hi everyone, it's me, Arielle, and it's Wednesday Warriors. And this week I'm going to be talking about how to celebrate your good qualities now that you know more about yourself and what you want. Last week's topic was about questions to ask yourself. I talked about just some very basic questions that I'll go over briefly. First was, what do you most want to change? What do you think you could easily do differently? And what's stopping you? Those two questions are really important, and that follow-up one of what's stopping you is something that I'm actually asking you and encouraging you to ask yourself. I don't have that as an afterthought of and what's stopping you to kind of bring it to your attention that you're somehow doing something wrong or making excuses. I honestly want to know what you think is stopping you, and listing those obstacles and figuring out how you can get rid of those obstacles is really going to be a benefit to you. Then I asked, what does freedom mean to you? And maybe you can visualize it with an image. Maybe it has something more to do with a poem or a quote. Maybe freedom is a long narrative. Maybe freedom is just you saying a list. It means this and this and this and this and this, and this is what it looks like to me. Then I asked, and what do you need to put into place to achieve that freedom? Who are your supports? It's really important to remember all the strengths that we have, especially when sometimes bad things seem to be looming. How can you utilize those supports more than you are right now? What are your most toxic elements in life? And how can you better distance yourself from them? And these are just all really important questions to ask ourselves in life, but especially in recovery from an eating disorder. So if you have asked yourself all those questions and you're delving more deeply into yourself, this week when I talk about your positive traits and how to celebrate them, it's sort of an after approach now that you know how to stay true to yourselves better based on those questions, based on the prior week, which was how to celebrate good qualities and talents and be proud of yourself and understand that you can be confident and that doesn't mean self-absorbed. And then the very first week of this rotation, which was how to be true to yourself despite life circumstances, what other people say or do, your own limitations, things like that. So the question of the week really is, who are you? Once we've gone through all those things and you're trying very hard to learn yourself, who are you? How can you celebrate your good qualities, because everyone has some? How you can know the right questions to ask yourself in addition to the ones that I already encouraged you to ask, how you can move forward from there, and how you can really discover who you are. That's what I want to talk about today. Some suggestions that I have, you can list all of yourselves, and I've talked about this in other videos, blog posts as well. If I would list all myselves, for example, it might be the writer, the wife, the daughter, the friend, the graduate student, all of the different pieces of me. I have many different roles, and you can break it down a lot, especially by relationships you have with other people, as I was saying, the friend, the daughter, the wife. And just remember that all of them create oneself, and we can talk about how they can create oneself. It's not really about discovering anything new, it's about reminding yourself who you are. You're a multifaceted human being, an individual to be celebrated, and there are so many pieces to you. So to think of yourself as one-dimensional, or to let other people pass you off as one-dimensional and just think that that's all you are, is really selling yourself short. I think there are a lot of little exercises that you can do to really drive home the point that you're multifaceted and that there are lots of things to celebrate about yourself. I think of things right off the bat that involve art in some kind of a way, where you can either make a collage of all the pieces of yourself, your personality, the things you enjoy. If you are someone who enjoys drawing, you can draw a self-portrait, but have that self-portrait either maybe have speech bubbles or thought bubbles, things that are all the different pieces of you. You can have yourself in front of a background that portrays all of the pieces of you, and you can really make that self-portrait however you want it to be. Another really cool thing to do might be to find photos from all of the different roles that make up your one individual personality. For example, a picture of you with your mom and dad to show the daughter, a picture of you with your children to portray you as the mother, a picture of you with your husband or your wife to show yourself as the spouse, a picture of you with your friends to show yourself as the friend, a picture of you at work to show whatever it is that you do, a picture of you at school to show yourself as the student. There are so many different things that you can think of to gather those pictures. You can put them around a box. You can put them on a wall. You can make a collage just with those photos. You can make a bulletin board. I mean, there are just so many things, but I think it's important to recognize all of the different things that we do and are. And it really, again, just drives home that we're great people, we're great individuals, and there are so many elements to us. Something even simpler, if art really isn't your thing, is you can just draw the silhouette of a person that's representing you, and around the body or inside the body, you can write all of the different adjectives and traits that you possess, or all of the different roles that you are. And just showing those words around the perimeter of you or inside the you is really poignant. Now, these are just suggestions. There's no end to your creativity, I'm sure, and I bet that you can think of many other things in order to drive home the fact that you're multifaceted as well. But once you have done something to recognize all of yourselves and you see all of the different pieces to you, I want you to sort of remember last week's conversation about all of the different questions that it's very important to ask yourself. Look at those questions, look at your list of selves or your art project or whatever it is that helps you to recognize who you are at the core, and see what is really stopping you from achieving the things you want to achieve. And if there are legitimate things that are in your way, how you can jump over them, how you can pretend that they're hurdles and jump over them and just continue moving forward, how you can maybe erase them altogether, how you can utilize your supports to get rid of them. There's just so many things that when we can visualize it, it seems more tangible and it seems more viable that we can get rid of it if we need to get rid of it, or we can work with it if we need to work with it, or we can celebrate it if we want to celebrate it. It's just about visualizing. It's about envisioning what we want for ourselves, who we are, and going from there. And these are all things that you can do, and you owe it to yourself to do these things because you're the only you. You're the only person who can be you. And there are so many people out there who are waiting to meet you. So many lives you're waiting to touch in the smallest of ways and in the largest of ways. And even all of the people aside that you might touch and meet, your life is something that you're going to map out for yourself. And of course, there are going to be twists and turns and circumstances that happen that are beyond your control, but you do get to have the power for the most part. You get to be the person that you want to be. You get to make the choices and the decisions, and you can set yourself on a path that feels beautiful and right for you. So I hope you'll check out all of the videos that were in this 4-week rotation. I think we had a really good one going this time. I hope you are having a wonderful week out there, and I will see you next time.